Good morning. Welcome back to Talking Racine. This is going to be our coronavirus episode. And as you can see, in deference to this problem, we're going to try a different format. Every time one of us has something to speak, they will be occupying their position at the desk alone. So I want to introduce my companions here on the show. First is Mr. George Myers.
Okay, you ready for me? You stand over here, Doc.
Stand on that side of the room there until I get past George.
All right, okay. Oh, you forgot to ask me, do I like being on the show? Yeah, this is great. Good morning, folks. Good to see you. Okay, Jim.
All right, I'm going to circle back around.
All right. All right, now stay 6 feet, Jim. Stay over there.
And you stay there, because I'm
Okay.
back far enough now.
All right, good.
Hey, I got to go to furthest. Okay, I'm Jim Spodek. I'm the producer of the show, and well, we can start the show. I'll get Doc back on the set.
Okay, stand back, Doc.
All right, good
Okay.
job, guys. Good job.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Keep your space, Jim. Okay, Doc. We're back. Got your 6 feet.
Okay, let's get started. Well, we're back. Now, we did actually tape the entire show using that particular format where we would come in one at a time on the set to avoid contaminating one another. And geez, it took over 3 hours, and we kept losing track of what the heck we were talking about, so we decided to run the risk.
No, Jim, you got the dog guarding the front door. 'Cause
Absolutely.
You got some
Nobody's
very
coming in and
valuable
getting
stuff
this
here
stuff.
on the camera. Yeah.
This is
People don't know.
antiseptic soap, right? Antibiotic? Good,
Right.
okay.
Yeah,
And
the best.
of course, we got the toilet paper and the...
So we should be covered.
Yeah.
Nobody breathing
We'll
over
make,
this
we'll,
way.
make, we'll make it through the show now.
Okay, the first topic of discussion this morning is the WAGTD Forum, which was the meeting of all 4 candidates for the contested aldermanic races here in the city of Racine. You got the 4th, the 8th, the 10th, and the 12th that are all being contested. And at the forum, which you can still view on Facebook, Dennis Monte from the 4th, Malcolm Platt, Mac, from the 8th, Kerry Glenn from the 10th, and Henry Perez from the 12th were the only ones that were motivated to show up. Their opponents did not show up for the WGTD Forum. So, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, you go and watch the Facebook forum and you'll at least see these 4 candidates. So if you're in one of these districts, the 4th, the 8th, the 10th, or the 12th, you get to see at least one of the candidates from your district telling you why they would like to be your representative. And I didn't get a chance to see it. I tried to watch it on the evening that it was live, and I don't know, maybe I'm technologically challenged, but I could not get it to, I couldn't get it to work for me. Did either of you guys see it?
Yeah, I did, and I thought they did a good job. And I one of the things, obviously, when you want to forum, you want to hear what the opponent is, what their ideas are, and there was obviously none of that. So they got kind of a free opportunity to express themselves, and then there was no objection to any of it from the other opponent. So, I mean, to me, it's if you want that position, you've got to actually come in with some ideas, or at least express yourself to what your ideas are for that district.
Weren't those other 4 missing? Weren't they all kind of tied in with the mayor a little bit?
Yeah, they're all mayor appointee almost. Yeah, they're all definitely connected to it. Here's where I'm going to go again. You've got empty suits hoping that they can push it through with dragging people from the polls and getting out the in this particular case. And I'm not.
Well, we know that people in the mayor's office have helped the at least some of the other 4 candidates. We don't know if they're all tied in. But it seems that way, and
I mean, to have
people
none
on
of
the
them
mayor's staff are helping them with
Right.
their campaign literature.
If you got that kind of backing,
What does it tell you?
with the establishment, you kind of feel confident. Why bother go to a forum, when I got
I got a mailer.
I got the
coming
mayor
out.
at the back.
Right.
I got the mayor and a mailer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, then now there's another George. You might want to touch on a little bit. The next forum.
Oh yeah, the next forum is coming up tonight. It's being held at the Harbor Light Yacht Club for the public. It's sponsored by 3 organizations. One is the Southern Wisconsin Landlord Association. We call it SWILA, SWLA. Another organization is the Racine Taxpayers Association. And the other one that's very close to us is the HOT Government, Honest, Open, and Transparent Government. And we're going to bring some real issues up at that forum. I mean, they're not fooling around. One of them is going to be Car 25. Why is that languishing over at City Hall? Another issue we want to look at is the TID districts and the money it's costing. We've talked about it here in the program, so it's going to be brought up there. Taxpayers Association is also interested in that. And of course, the SWILA is interested in the rents program. I forgot what that's an acronym for giving power to tenants or something like that.
Well, one thing I want to say about the yacht club is do not be intimidated by the fact that it's a yacht club, because I don't think you even have to have a boat to join the Harbor Lights Yacht Club. It's
Probably
more,
not.
It's
No,
more of a
maybe not.
social club, and it's a nice facility.
Very nice.
It's right down at the corner of State
Everybody's
Street
welcome.
and the river.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
right by the bridge.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
and
west
you,
of the
and you
bridge.
just go to that first door there, and there's a bar over one place, and there's a meeting room up to the left, and it's a nice meeting room. The Swilla meets there the 3rd Monday of every month. So I mean, and I don't think hardly any of them are members of the yacht club.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to go.
What
And
time did you say it is tonight?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Now, at 6:30, there'll be a pre-forum program talking a little bit about tax incremental financing and its effect on taxes. So that'll be there beforehand, and then the candidates are expected to show up around 7, and it'll be for an hour. We found that about an hour is about as long as people want to go after sitting there listening to prospective politicians talk for an hour.
That's about the time
Yeah,
limit.
but although some of them, after it's closed down, people stick around a lot because then you get to talk with the
Yeah.
candidates one-on-one, and that can be real interesting too, at least.
Is there free food?
No, but if you
No
come
free food.
at 6 and got $5, you can have all the pizza you want.
Hey! That's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
I might show up just for the pizza. Okay, well, let's move on to the coronavirus, because man, that's the big thing in the news right now,
Give me my
man.
toilet paper.
But it's amazing the impact that it's had on everyone. I mean, everybody's running around kind of scared. You know?
I heard one story with
running
toilet
out of
paper.
toilet paper in some stores.
Yeah.
Why is it toilet paper?
Toilet
It's
paper.
so weird. You know, I mean, of course, Jim, you said your wife was at Woodman's, and the soup counter or the
Soups are
soup
gone.
shelves were gone.
So it's I don't know. There's a big overreaction to this thing as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. Now we've closed schools, we've closed sporting events, we've got jobs are being affected, colleges, medical facilities.
The mayor closed a parade.
Yeah.
That wasn't even his, by the way. The St. Patrick's Day parade belongs to the Downtown Business Association. They're the one that formed it
Yeah.
up.
So let's
Has nothing
touch
to
on it
do
a
with
little
City
bit.
Hall, but he closed down their
Did he
parade.
even notify them that he was shutting down their
Probably
parade?
they found out it through the paper.
Oh, jeez.
So let's touch
amazing.
on it a little bit. I mean,
The
what do you think, George? I mean, what do you think?
about the
The virus.
I just have some big questions about it. I finally decided a couple days ago, if I'm going to be a responsible citizen and not just rely on the government to give me all the information that I want about it, I'm going to have to do some researching. And the first place I started was with this Diamond Princess cruise liner, you know, the one that's got 3,700 people and came into dock someplace and they wouldn't let them off. So I researched, I looked up that. That was the first place I went. And out of the 3,700 people, only 634 had come up with any type of indication that they had the
And this is a
coronavirus.
closed population.
This is a closed population. Wait a minute. Only 600 out of 3,700?
Well, how many days had they been out on that boat?
I don't know, but it's been at least a week. I mean,
At least
those
a week.
cruises last that
So
long.
somebody had to have brought that on board,
Right.
and in a week's time, 16% got infected.
Yeah, and mind
That's
you,
pretty-
they're constantly intermingling.
Yeah.
You know, the amount, if you go from A to B to C to D, and how long does that take? You know, it could happen within minutes. And by everybody contacting everybody else within, I would say within the first hour, If you could follow everybody's line of contact and who is connected to who and everything, everybody would have been contacted. If one person walked in with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So and then what was another thing that was interesting, of the 634 that did have the virus,
That tested positive.
328, that's more than half, had no symptoms.
Yeah.
No symptoms. The other 308 were symptomatic. So that, I'm asking the question now is how infectious is it? How dangerous is it really? If out of 3,700 people, only 600 come up with the virus, and of those 600, less than half have symptoms. And this is a deadly virus. It's going to wipe out population by the millions. It just leaves me with a question. I said, Jim, I hope that's a long-winded.
Yeah. No, I think
your thing.
I think there's some questions that are being asked out there, and I think, I don't know, Doc. I mean, I know you come from a little bit of different opinion of it, that you should have some concern. I mean, and I agree with you. You should.
Yeah.
I mean, the frail and the elderly. I mean, their probably immune systems are somewhat compromised, and they may have more susceptibility to it and cause more of an issue for it. But
Well, there's no reason not to take it seriously.
right.
But as far as getting panicky is concerned, don't do it.
Yeah, rushing out to buy up all the toilet paper because and when you look at a normal flu virus, it's not like this is higher percentages than that. Matter of fact, there was another one.
You mean in terms of
infectious and that type of stuff? Yeah.
The mortality rate is higher.
Okay.
By all the statistics we've seen thus far.
But the only problem I have with the current mortality rates is I don't know how good a base they're operating with.
Yeah.
The first mortality rates that I heard started off at 4%. It was really high, and then as they found out more and more people were infected, then they said, the mortality rate is now down a percentage.
Right.
Here's another thing that I thought was interesting. I thought the way it sounded, this was the first time. This was unique, and it never happened before. Yet when I look at another website, it said there are 2 outbreaks of coronavirus memory. One was 2003, the SARS outbreak. I don't know if you remember that, but that was a coronavirus flu syndrome.
Something respiratory syndrome.
Respiratory syndrome. And the other one was in 2009, the H1N1 influenza A virus. That was another coronavirus type of syndrome. The coronavirus comes from the description of the little virus. It's kind of a round thing with like little rays coming out of it. So it's got to have an unusual
It looks like
structure.
somebody's painting of the sun that maybe had eaten some mescaline earlier in the day.
Something like that. So that's where that name comes from. But so this is not new. And the other 2, the first one, 2003, which spread from China to 26 other nations, but was contained in 8 months.
Well, the problem with this thing is if it gets into your respiratory system, that's where it really causes issues.
Right.
So there are ways of preventing getting it down into your respiratory system. It's initiated through the nose, through the mouth, and you can breathe it in from your own trachea and through your nasal passages. So keep your nose clean and wash your hands. Gargle with salt water is a very helpful protection. Just warm salt water will be very, very helpful. And,
Anything to say about vitamin D3?
I haven't seen anything particular about that, but most people are deficient in vitamin D3 anyway, and it's a very, very important vitamin.
It's called the antibiotic vitamin.
Vitamin
You might want to consider
and
those.
C also is good.
Yeah.
Bolster your immune system.
Okay, I got my own
Don't
theory.
touch your face.
Okay, I'm going to go out there a little bit. I think it's a huge theft. I think it's a huge theft of global money. Now, just think about this. Stock market dropped on a flu or a virus 9,000 points in a matter roughly of a week. So the school teacher that had her 401k in the market, and maybe even conservatively in the market, probably took a pretty good hit.
It'll be 25% of it.
Yeah,
Right.
There's huge money being made right now, and
Well,
personally-
there'll be money made when
there's money
when it
made
goes
already.
back up. It'll
There's
really
already
be
money
yeah.
made, Doc. There's money when you're in it, and this is almost what's counted on. And so now they're going to bring out Warren Buffett, who's going to say,
It's
Don't
safe.
worry about
Get back in.
You have to settle in, but that school teacher who just lost 25% of her 401k is going to have to wait 5 years, maybe 6 years to get that money back. It's not going to bounce back like that, but it was a great grab for money. Now, is that all it is? I don't know. Maybe.
I think there's another thing that can be going on here, and I look at this as a possible benefit. And that being that it's going to slow down the rampant consumerism. It's stifling the consumer culture a little bit. You know, they're shutting down the NBA, baseball is postponing, March Madness is...
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts.
I mean, all of these superfluous activities and purchases that we take part in are being slowed down, they're being tamped down.
Well, the other thing is, Doc, think about
much.
this. What about cost of goods? Now, all of a sudden, what's going to happen to this price of this, or that, or this? You know, and I'm talking about all across the board.
So have you bought stock in Kimberly-Clark?
No.
You might want to think about that.
Yeah, paper mill. We'll go to trees. We'll go right to the forest. No, I'm just saying. I think there's going to be a cost of goods increase. This is a great way to, toilet paper's got to go up. We had that shortage. We can't have that again. I mean, there's a great marketing.
That's not going to last.
No,
I don't know.
There'll be a bump.
No, I don't think you guys are denying that the coronavirus exists.
No, not at all.
You're just saying it's been utilized in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I saw the stock market crashing when it first started to crash because of a virus in China, I thought, wait a minute, what's going on here? Is this really affecting the company growth and payouts and investments and all that type of stuff, or is this just being used by the day traders to cause a rush of some sort to sell and get down so that they can make money down there at the bottom when it finally turns around?
George, you have to have a correction. How are you going to correct? The market was doing well. There were jobs. There was growth. That correction
was inflated.
Well, I think it's been overbought. It's been on a growth for what? How many years?
But how do you correct it?
About 8 years.
Well, you need something like this to correct it.
The virus corrected it.
The virus.
There's way more to this than
the way it's being used and then scaring it. And then that's where
be afraid.
That's where my counter theory comes in and says, is this really more than an average flu? Now we're going to find out when it's done, because another one of the things, the statistics that it came up with.
Well, we're responding to this more strongly than we have.
But is it a test? So. Let's face it. Is it a test? You got mass hysteria. Hysteria. But really, you do.
Well, listen to these statistics. Now, this is from the CDC, the Committee for what's it called? CDC. That's the disease people.
Yeah.
All right. Put it that way. Every year, between 9 and 45 million people get infected with influenza. All right, 140 to 810,000 hospitalizations, and between 12,000 and 61,000 deaths annually since 2010. So there's a lot of people getting sick and dying from influenza every year, between 12 and 61,000. Let's see how this one comes out.
Right.
I think you're going to find out. It might even be a mile. It might not even be.
But here's the thing: how did it get to the level it did? If you turn on
by scaring people,
exactly.
But
this whole mentality is,
and that's all you've heard. It's how we're shutting down trade with China. We have to stop this over here. We have to shut down parades. We have to close off schools. It's all a big scary.
And what are we doing? We're limiting freedom. That's what I think.
That's the ultimate.
That's the ultimate goal. Limit freedom. That's what I think it is. I mean, I don't know. We're going to rob you and limit your freedom. Sorry.
Well, some of this freedom is being used for rampant consumerism, like I said earlier. People got so much stuff now, they got to rent storage lockers to stick their stuff in because they don't have enough room in their houses.
I mean, I don't think it's going to stop because the consumer is still going to buy and the producer is still going to produce.
Well, he's going to buy toilet paper.
You're going to see this go to twice as much. I look at it.
Not that the virus isn't legit. There's one out there. What is my question is, and you guys
be rationally careful.
Is it really that dangerous? Is it the type of thing we have to shut our lives down and give up freedom to survive? I just question it.
You know what would be helpful right now? If Car 25 was up and running.
That would be cool.
The municipal TV channel. This would be a great way for people to get information. Now, it's been almost 2 months ago, wasn't it?
Oh, easy.
Close to it, yeah. Where the city council decided to vote $150,000 towards getting Car 25 back up and running. Now, you used to be a producer on Car 25, and you signed up and became a producer currently in the new incarnation.
Right, about 2-3 months ago. I was.
Have you heard anything?
Not a thing. No.
And while this big hold is on, what's going on with Car 25? While nothing is being done, remember Chase Hendricks? How he came and talked to the to the meeting, and he's the guy that probably knows more about the operation of that television channel and what it would take to get it running than anybody else in the community. He says, "Look, give me about $10,000. I'll get that thing up and running in a week." Here we are 6 weeks later.
With 125,000.
Yeah,
nothing's
can't
happening.
get anything done. So where's is that any of that money been spent?
They want that. City Hall wants that thing kept shut down.
Yeah, they
That's
do.
basically.
Exactly. If they wanted it, it'd be
They
out.
just don't want you out there finding out about it.
And it would be an important resource for people right now. They've got all these concerns about the coronavirus, what's going on, what's not going on, what's being canceled, what isn't. And man, if that information was available by just tuning in to Car 25, it'd be helpful to a
You
lot
can
of
find
people.
out exactly what's going on in Racine instead of having to listen to a Milwaukee station about what's going on in Milwaukee to determine what's happening going on in Racine. We could have something right here. That'd be really cool, particularly on something like this.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but they're not. Well, whatever.
You know what else they could promote on 25? The unified referendum.
Oh, there you go.
Boy. These are a couple of pamphlets. These are not cheap.
No, they're good. They're nicely done.
These had come out recently, and Unified is promoting everybody, vote yes on the referendum. They got happy kids and smiling teachers, and everything's going to be hunky-dory if you vote for the referendum. And, I've always supported public education since I got back in Racine. I've always voted for these referendums. I don't know about this one. I mean, they're asking for $1 billion over 30 years' time.
$1 billion.
A 30-year pledge, $1 billion, and quite honestly, the results that have ensued from all of the referendums that I've supported since I've been back in town, the results just are not there. I mean, the performance.
New buildings won't educate kids.
No,
and I don't see how it has an effect. And don't give me this 19th century or 20th century buildings in a 21st century education. That's a bunch of hogwash. It has nothing to do with education. There are some great educations, by the way, coming out of people's kitchens.
Yeah.
And it's called homeschooling.
Everybody's happy here, and I don't get it. I mean,
no.
why aren't the results there? It doesn't seem like the students are happy. It doesn't seem like the teachers are happy because they're constantly got somebody
Well, I
over their
think they're-
shoulder
yeah, and I
looking at
think
them, telling them they're doing this wrong, that wrong, you got to do this.
Well, you've talked
That money, that money could actually make it worse if they put it into
Yeah.
administration. It's going to actually make it worse. What they really need to do is just shut that administration down, leave a couple of people back there to do the bookkeeping and keep track of the building expenses, and let the teachers teach.
Yeah.
They'll do a much better job just teaching on their own, using their own knowledge and resources, rather than having somebody look over their shoulder telling them every minute what they're supposed to do.
Well, you do what you want to do, but I mean, Unified has been getting regular funding, and the results aren't there. So you might want to find out exactly what it is they're proposing and whether or not you believe that you're going to get what they're promising, and use that to decide whether you want to vote for this. I'm not telling you to or not to, but that's an awful lot of money.
They're doing a lot of
money to
marketing,
come
and a
out of
lot
this
of marketing
community.
on this. So I mean, they're pushing hard for this. So,
Well, if they put out a couple 100,000, what's that to $1 billion? If
Yeah,
they can get
right.
$1 billion
Oh, no.
out of it, it's a
I'm
good
sure they're doing that.
investment.
yeah.
Just think of the advertising budget we could have.
Oh,
We could be promoting Talking Racine on billboards around town,
It'll be everywhere.
signs,
We could be.
signs on the side of automobiles.
Then we wouldn't have to do anything. We wouldn't have to do any research. We'd be
Nothing.
totally stupid up here,
Yeah, you don't have to do a
because we
thing.
got
Well, some
everything
people
covered.
do allege that we're totally stupid already.
Well, that's their tough luck.
I don't think they know what they're talking about personally. Anyway, have you got any? Did you bring anything from the newspaper that you wanted to cover? George looks at the news, or actually, what happened here today is we were going to have a special guest come in and have a conversation, and that's been postponed because of the coronavirus. We had two people coming in, and they decided, well, maybe we'll wait until later. So we won't say anything more about that other than one of these days, before too long, we're going to have a couple of guests in. We're going to have a panel discussion about some very interesting aspects of the culture that exists in Racine. And in the meantime, wash your hands, keep your fingers out of your nose, and make sure that
What are you going to say about toilet paper?
Make sure you got plenty of toilet paper. If you run out of toilet paper, paper towel works. And come back and see us next week. We'll be here waiting for you, hopefully, if we don't die.